All right, so I'm back to cover the last portion of your notes here. You're actually not going to write very much. The very last page of your notes has a picture, and then it says types of memory at the bottom: episodic, procedural, semantic, and working. On my own notes, I don't have anything written there. You just need to have a basic idea of what they are, and that will be good enough for your actual test. I don't think I go into it much on your test. As far as memory goes, we actually used to classify memory as either long-term or short-term. New classification is it's better. There's a 4 memory system, and those systems are all essential in processing, storage, and information. It's still short versus long-term, but it's more split. We have what's called sensory memory, which is less than a second. You know, you smack your hand on the table and all of a sudden you feel something and then it's gone. All right. You have short-term memory, which is your working memory, which lasts about a minute. This is about all the attention you guys can muster in a classroom while I'm talking. And then there's long-term memory. This is lifetime memory. The goal of learning, and it's why we send you to school, is to actually get long-term memory, to take these things we talk about in class and move them over into this portion so that you can remember them later. I'm willing to bet if I gave you a test from back in September that most of you could not pass that test. And the reason why is because you all crammed and studied the night before and then did it again right before you took the test. You got it into your working memory. You never moved it to that long term, which means you didn't learn anything. You just kind of put it in short-term memory and got rid of it. In long term, there's also what's called explicit memory, which is the stuff you remember when you're conscious. And then implicit memory is the stuff you get when you're unconscious. Procedural memory of unconscious is kind of not thinking about it. You get that procedural memory like skills and tasks. It's why you can remember how to ride a bike, and you can be riding your bike and look off somewhere and not even pay attention to the fact that you're pedaling, and your body will continue to pedal and keep you upright while you're focused on something else. Declarative memory are facts and events, the stuff that we try to get you to remember in class. And then that is even broken down to experiences and then facts and concepts. The experiences ones, these episodic memories, have a lot to do with your amygdala that we talked about. And this is the emotional event, the things you experience. Now, if you have facts and concepts that you relate to a emotional event, that will work as well, but you can see the differences in those two. And so the question is, how important are our memories? If you were involved in a traumatic event, a serious one, like a rape, a terrorist attack, would you take a pill so that you could not remember it? This is an interesting poll that I give in class, and it's fascinating to listen to students say why they wouldn't. I might actually post an assignment or some kind of survey where you guys can go online and tell me what you think, why you would or wouldn't. For me, I guess it would depend on the type of event and how much it's impacting my life. If you're a person suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder because you can't forget the things that you saw while you were in war, and taking that pill would make you a functional member of society again, you would seriously consider taking it. And so they're actually trying to develop a pill. Go look at this website. It talks about a pill that they're trying to use to block people from getting memories like that. Episodic memory, phone conversation you had yesterday. Do you guys remember the first Harry Potter movie? Can you tell me who the person was that Lord Voldemort was possessing? Can you tell me where Lord Voldemort was manifest? What do you remember about it? How many details do you remember? That's the kind of stuff that goes into your episodic memory. You take mental snapshots of it, you remember it, yay, everybody's happy. All right? Witness testimony is kind of fascinating because our brains have this weird thing where they will create events that do not happen, but you would swear they did happen. There's actually a brain games about this. I need to find it. It's a fascinating one. lawyers will actually try to get witness accounts as soon as possible so that they don't change before the person gets up and gives testimony. So that all the person has to do when they do get up on the stand is they'll basically say, this is what you saw. Is that correct? And you can say yes. And this is a really long article, but I thought it was fascinating. I loved it. I'm saying fascinating a lot. What's wrong with me? All right. Semantic memory. Can you look at a picture and tell me what something is? It's your retrieval of the general facts. And that's basically where you start off with everything in school. You guys are really big on the facts. And then when we ask you to apply that material, that's where everything goes down a hill. Because most of you can tell me what actor played Bella in Twilight. Oh, I need a question mark there. But most of you can't tell me why she wanted to play that or what happened, and it's Twilight, so, it sucks anyway. Who would want to remember that? But yeah, this is a scrunchie. Scrunchie, however you say that. I'm ashamed of myself for knowing that. Moving on. Procedural memory. This is, do you know how to ride a bike? Do you know that something is true? The general knowledge of semantic memories and your personal recollections are episodic. And so this one, can you make a teacup with a length of string? You would have to remember what a teacup looks like, then take a piece of string, set it on the table, and wrap it into the shape of a teacup. And then, do you know how to use a can opener? Have any of you used one that's not electric? Yeah. All right. So working memory, this used to be called short term. It's actually been changed now into a more in-depth thing. And so this is your temporary storage for complex tasks. This part operates over a few seconds. It's temporary storage. It can manipulate information, and this gives you focus and attention. It's what allows you to be able to look right at something and focus on it for a few minutes. That's your working memory there. All right. There is a memory loss test you can go online and take. It's kind of fun. And then finally, forgetting details is actually very essential to our brains. We see too much and encounter too much in our lives for our brain to be able to remember and process it all. It's simply not a possibility. If it did, your brain would be overloaded with material and it simply wouldn't be able to function. And so I want you to watch this video on why it's good to forget some things. And then if you're really into psychology and how the brain works in psychology, this crash course is for you. I suggest you watch it. It's really good. All right. So that sums up the end of our unit, and we are now ready for a test.